Hi, it's BarbaraMichelle. It's been a while since I did a process video or a craft with me video, so that's what we'll be doing today. I'm going to be making a junk journal out of this record album cover. It's already been taken apart, so I'm just going to use the front side. I bought this album just for the cover art. I really like this old time cars. I guess it's the 12th or Oscar winners 12. I don't really know, but I no longer have the record, as you can see. Anyways, I'm going to take this apart more and scale it down to size and go from there. Also, I have my ruler and some other stuff, but this is for this one, since it's a record album, I did pull some extra sheets music papers, and then this is just some general papers. Usually when I'm trying to work on junk journals, I will spread all the miscellaneous papers that I have on my desk or my table, and then I'll, put one of each in a pile and gather that and keep it in envelopes so that when I'm ready to make a journal, I already have a lot of variety of papers ready to go. I might not use all of these that are in here, but it's a variety of things that would generally go inside the junk journal. That way, when I'm ready to make one, I don't have to scrounge around my craft room looking for all these bits and pieces, because some of them are tucked away. Plus, I really like the process of just going. So there's some envelopes, some small pieces, and then just paper, general paper that will make up the pages of this journal. So I'll put that all to the side. When I run out of my envelopes full of paper, then I'll start over and make more envelopes, which is fun too. I get to see all the stuff, the new stuff I've brought in, and I like all the process. So first I'm going to cut this down to the size I want it to be. And sorry, that's a little bit off there. I had to open the arm. I would like it to be 8 1/4. I was surprised when I bought my first record album to tear up that they're 12 by 12, just like a piece of scrapbook paper, so they fit perfectly in my 12 by 12. Well, it's a 15 by 12 cutter, but isn't that awesome? So 8 1/4. I'm going to start out with 9. Nope, I'm going to start out with right there. So maybe right there. 8 1/2, because I do need to trim this edge here. It's a little bit ragged. Maybe, yeah. I would like to keep these words intact. It tells you the songs that were on this album. And I don't know all of them. But there were a few I recognize. Moon River and Que Sera Sera, Zippity Doo Dah, When You Wish Upon a Star. Those ones I know. Okay. So there's the first cut. 8 1/4. Because it is a junk journal, the ragged edge isn't essential to remove, but start out nice and neat. And then this edge here is also going to be cut down. So I wanted it to be like a traveler's notebook A5 insert size. So we're going to do 5 1/2 by 8 1/4. So this needs to be 11. So I can do this side right here. And then 11. Alright, so that is going to be my cover. And I'll use this part, maybe the back side. The back side you see is a little bit damaged there, but I'll use this as some pockets or other parts inside the journal. You can also make tags with these. They look really, really great. So I might make some tags for the ephemera in the tuck spots. Okay, this is like chipboard, and you can see it has a little damage, but it's chipboard, so I'm going to use my scoreboard to get to the center and do a nice score for folding it in half. If you don't have a scoreboard, you can just fold it in half and see how it goes. This isn't quite square. I love this Martha Stewart scoreboard, but I think it's off on the side or something, because sometimes when I go down the center of a page, it doesn't fold completely in the center. It also could just be that I'm doing it wrong. So this is a I don't know what this tool is called at the moment, but it works with scoreboards. Mine has a little glue on it. I think this one actually came with the Martha Stewart. You can see those little nicks on the side. So 5 1/2, that's where we're going to go. Whoops. Okay, and then fold it. And you can see that it does kind of separate there. See, that's where I'm off right there. I'm gonna have to trim that up. See that? Okay, no problem. Now we know where the fold is. Let me see if we can get this straight. I don't know what I did. It probably just wasn't in there straight to begin with. Alright, that's looking much better. But this side is off a little. One of these sides is off a little. I think it's this one. That's okay. Just trim it down again. 1/4 inch. And this one, let's see. Not so much. I almost always go up with my trimmer, so the front side of the blade gets very dull. So at the end of the trimming, the life of the trimmer, I have to switch it up and pull down. Okay. Alright, that looks pretty good. So now, I doubt it's 5 1/2, but we'll see. It's a little bit bigger than 5. Almost 5 1/2, not quite. Alright. I also like to round the corners of my journals. I like the look of it. I also think that, you know, the square corners get a little bit more abuse, and they tend to flatten out anyway. And if it's round, there's no part to poke or get caught on. There's no definite strike point, you know, it's kind of rounded. So there we go. That's going to be the cover of this journal. So it's a soft cover, I guess. It's not as soft as a regular paper cover, but it's not quite a hardback book type cover. Okay. This video could be long. It takes a while to make a junk journal. It seems super simple, and it isn't really complicated, but there's a lot of cutting, trimming, measuring, arranging the pages so they look nice when you flip through them. This does tend to want to stick up. I might score again on either side of that line, just to give it a little bit more of a spine area for the papers to go in. Let's do that. So this is no longer 5 1/2. It's 5 1/8 above a quarter. So 5 5/8. And so I'm going to do the 5 1/2 again. Whoops. That happens to me quite a bit. That extra like little, especially with the cardstock, I kind of go off. Because it's harder to find the groove. It's not as firmly attached there. And then 5 1/4. Usually with paper, you can pretty much find the groove that's under your scoreboard. My goal is with having this 1/4 of an inch wide spine is that it would close easier once I have it full of paper. It's still going to be a single signature journal. I'm going to just use my ruler as to put next to the line as a point for it to fold. Since it's already been folded in the middle, it naturally wants to fold there again. Just kind of hold it in place. I'm just trying to flatten it out a bit. Alright. As we work with it, it will close more naturally at that spot. You know, it won't stick up as much. Also, when you're done with your journal, just tie something around it or put a heavy book under it, or put it under a heavy book to help gravity and the weight of the pressure keep it closed and naturally help the papers to close as you want them to. Okay. So it does make a difference. It's just a 1/4 of an inch, and you can see that the cover art is coming off. So to repair that, I'm just going to put some washi tape down the spine. Any tape, or you could put fabric on it. I don't think I have an appropriate fabric. But since it's the Oscars, maybe I could do a gold washi tape of some sort. That might be pretty. Okay. I think I'm done with my scoreboard. I don't usually use that for papers. The papers inside, they generally just get folded in half. I'm going to go ahead and put the washi tape on so that it doesn't rip and, you know, get all over the cover there. I have this kind of gold rosy one, so I think that'll work. Washi tape is sticky, but it's like a removable stickiness depending on the brand that you get. Some of them are pretty strong, and if you try and take them off, they will rip your paper underneath. So I'm going to put some glue, it's just Elmer's Extreme Craft Glue, on my washi tape to help it stay where I want it to stay, because this is not a temporary thing. I want it to be on there permanently. You can also use regular tape, like I said, or fabric. Just glue it on there, sew it on there if it's fabric. And this will go through my sewing machine. I don't know if it probably will go through most sewing machines. It's not any thicker than most denims, I don't think. Alright, so the glue's on there. And just going to center it. I can feel the bump, or well, it's an indent right now. Just rub it or burnish it is another word. It's a burnishing tool just for rubbing and getting it to seal there. It's pretty. Okay. I'm going to fold it over the edge. I could just trim it off, but this will keep it in place. Alright, looks good. It's a little wider on the back side. Oh, and there's a bubble. Okay. I'm going to let that dry. If you've seen a craft tour, my quick tour of my craft room, you'll know I have some drawers up there that hold miscellaneous little bits and pieces. Washi tape is one of them. And glue. I have glue sticks. Go in another drawer. Alright, so we know the size of our journal, basically. Let's double check, because I have trimmed it up a bit, haven't I? Wrong way round. So it's 5 1/4 by 8, a little bit more than 8. So I'm going to make the pages 5 wide by maybe 7 and I don't know, 1 more 16th above 3/4. Alright, just having some coffee there. Okay. The little papers, like this little glassine bag, I just fold in half. But first, before I do that, I want to open this end right here. And, oh, here we go. I needed my razor blade tool. What are these called? An X-Acto knife, but this one is by Fiskars. I like it because you can, to change the blade, you just open this part here on the end. Take the blade out. And I really like the handle. It's a softer grip, so it's not as slippery as the old X-Acto knife I used to have was like a metal, and it was super skinny, and my hand was slipping. Okay, so I have a hole punch. So for the end that I just cut open, because it's just, you know, solid line across there, I like to put a little bit of a hole. So I just fold it in half, or you can measure and where that little indent is. On my hole punch, I line the indent up in between there so I know it's in the middle, and just go about halfway. Well, it's a circle punch, it's not a hole punch. Circle punch. Alright, that happens sometimes on the softer material of the bag, that the punch doesn't punch all the way through. It works really great on paper though. It is a paper punch. But now I have this little opening that makes things easier to get in and out of the bag. And just fold it in half. Okay, so this envelope will be too long, I think. Let's fold it in half and see. So it's 5 1/2, and I believe it was 5. You know what? Always I forget what my measurement was, so I'm going to write it down. The little scrap that I cut off the thing. We'll just take a pencil and write down what the measurement was. So it's 5 1/4 by a little bit over 8, 8 1/8, which is, I don't know, or 1/16, 8 1/8, because they're divided in 8, I think. So we want to make them 5 by 7 3/4, or some of them can be, they don't have to be 5 inches wide. You know, I like the shorter ones, and I also like them shorter this way, but this is the biggest that I want them so that they fit inside the book. Okay. And some of them I will have to make smaller, because as the pages go towards the center of the book, there's less room because of the other papers that are behind it in the signature are pushing it out just like 1/4 of an inch or so, so you can make them a little bit smaller. So this one I chose to make 5. And I'm going to seal the envelope. Oh, look how fun that is. That is quite fun. I like that, but I'm going to seal it. I got this envelope at an estate sale. So I did the same thing, made the little mark there, and I'm just going to punch through with my little circle punch. So now I have the openings on the side. Okay. And do I want another envelope? Well, that makes 2, so 3. This one will be nice too. So this one I will keep open. If you accidentally glue it shut while you're using it, just cut along the edge. This side, you just stick your tool in there, do your thing. Bone folder. That's what these things are called, bone folder. You were probably thinking that when I was saying, I don't know what this is called. That happens to me all the time. I'll be watching someone's video and I'll be like, I know. I'll just say it out loud. But when it comes to mine, my words escape me. Okay. So now we have 3 envelope style pockets that will be going in our journal. There's more envelopes in this packet, but I just won't use them. It's my bone folder. All these small things, they just get tucked into tuck spots. Some of them will go in the envelopes. So let me move all the small things. Oh, that's a recipe card. I probably won't need that for these. For this particular journal. Just see what I have here. Okay, yeah, these are great. Put those up there. And the recipe cards I will just stick back into my stash for a more appropriate journal. The recipes are probably from this time period, though. Okay, I don't know where to put them. So I do have this one envelope, which I'll save to see if we want to glue it on a page. And I'm not sure if those will be folded yet or not, so they'll go up there. This one is full of ephemera that I got from somebody's house. It's like their work, their job information. Oh, I like this one. It's written on. It's got some names. That might be fun in there. Some receipts. They can go in the tuck spots. So I'll go up there with the small stuff. More receipts, a little business card. And there we go. A piece of paper from 1969. And this envelope I'll save for another project, since I already have a couple envelopes. Okay. It's another one of those papers from 1969. I think I use this one. Even though it's a little bit wrinkled. That's okay. It's already folded in half. It's just a little index card, and this is a couple of index cards, you know, for writing on. I guess this would be a divider card. They went in the same sort of thing. Just a plain piece of paper. So I just fold them in half. If they fit that way. I probably will speed up this part of the video because basically it's just going to be me folding paper in half. I use my bone folder on the thicker ones. I think that's so cute. That would be a great little journal all by itself. Oh, that would be fun. Okay. If it doesn't make it in this journal, that's what I will use it for. I love these super huge index cards. I got a whole bunch of them at an estate sale. Most of the stuff came from an estate sale. Most of the papers over here. The glassine bag, that was bought at the store. But the envelopes came from an estate sale. This one is too big as it is. If you have a paper that's too big, you can simply make a pocket with it or trim it down. But it's too tall too. So that one will need to be trimmed. I think most of the rest, oh, here's some smalls. Smalls. Most of the rest will need to be trimmed or folded to fit. Love steno pad paper. So that one went that way, and this one I'll go vertical. Now I will have to cut it down, it's a little too tall. Okay. So my best friend in paper crafting is my paper cutter. Let me just move some of this stuff so I can get it on there. On the side of my desk I have a little spinny thing I got from Michael's, I believe. And it holds pens and pencils and scissors, rulers, all sorts of things. It's very handy, very handy. What to do with this guy? First, I'm going to correct the fold so it's nice and neat. I do love ledger paper. And it was 5 wide. Was that our original measurements? There we go. Oh, 5 1/4, so it could be 5 wide. And 8 tall. And then you could save your little scraps. Look at that. Beautiful numbers. Love that. Add them to the edge of the pages. There's that one. Okay, so these 2 pages I'm going to make into pockets. I'm just rounding the corners. Or tuck spots. Pockets, tuck spots, whatever you like to call it. I'm going to ink the edges. And I have some Tim Holtz walnut stain. I like the contrast the inking of the edges of the pocket provides. It helps you see the opening of the pocket a little bit better. This other side. Same thing. So if your page is big enough to fold over to make into a pocket, that's a great way to keep most of the paper usable for your journal. Plus, I really like making pockets. I'll do them out of any paper that I have that's big enough, but I like making them out of the book pages or the music paper, because I think that, you know, even though you could write on them, they're more useful as a pocket than a journaling spot. I mean, you could still write on them, especially music paper. You can write in between the lines and stuff. But pockets keeps the pretty paper in there. You know, fill it up with whatever you want. So this is just some glue. It's in a fine line bottle. I believe it's Scott's Quick Dry adhesive that's in there. It might also be Aleene's tacky glue. I just fill up the bottle when it's empty. Okay, so the other side's dry. And this one I'm going to do here along the edge. Just to keep it closed. And just hold it down for a second. Help it secure. Okay, so that's the two pockets. And there's all our back paper. So we're going to go back to the cover and make the some pockets on the inside. Yeah, I think that'll tell you what it is, so that works for me. It's fairly straight. If I use that as my straight edge, I want it to be at least 3.5 inches. So my pockets are super simple, the front pockets. Super simple. They're just a square with the quarters cut off. This one's going to be 3.5 by 3.5. And then this part can be a beautiful tag. Those are going to be the front pockets of this journal. So I lay them where I want them to be so I can see that I need to cut this bottom corner so it matches there. And I cut the top corner. That way the edges still stay, you know, flat to the sides. On this one. And this one. It's also going to cover up that little bit of damage there that you see. Let's get that down. Double check my washi tape. Looks pretty good. Okay, so the same little glue bottle. And just double check that you have it where you want it. And they just fit beautifully here in the corner. And the damage that's on there, you know, it's not bad. Looks like maybe it got wet at some point. You can consider it as adding character if you like the discoloration of it. Just like when you coffee dye something, you know, it discolors the thing. So I don't know if I got this record at an estate sale, this record album cover at an estate sale, or my local Goodwill is the thrift shop I go to most often. We have a couple here where I live. There's like 3 within a half an hour, and then there's a Goodwill outlet that I've never been to, but my cousin has, and she likes it. Sounds a little chaotic there. Just wanted to glue that down. Okay. That's our basic book, and now we just have to put the pages together and put them inside. How many minutes are we at? 46 minutes. So hopefully this won't take too long. I will get this in under an hour, and I'll speed up the middle where I'm just folding the papers, so it won't be that bad. Okay. So I want to get my smaller folded pieces as well. Everything that's going to go inside. I don't think I did anything with that. It's a little too big. I'll put that to the side. Any more smaller pieces? No. Okay. So I like to alternate book pages, lined papers, and smalls. So these I consider smalls. This one I don't think I'm going to put in there. Smalls. So I'm just separating them. Lined pages, that's a small. There's one small in here. There we go. And blank, lined, and for this book I only have book pages that are music paper. Oh, I do have one dictionary page. One dictionary page. This dictionary is pretty old. It's kind of fragile, so I'll be careful with that one. Sometimes I add cardstock too, but I think we have plenty here to work with. Okay. So these ones also can be sorted. Envelope, envelope. Blank, lined, blank, lined, blank, lined, blank. And where'd my glassine bag go? I had the worst trouble trying to pronounce that glassine at the beginning. So, okay, anything folded that has to go inside the signature is here now. And I would like to start out with a nice sturdy one like this. And I like to have them alternate, kind of. And then a book page. And then the lined paper. Maybe not that one. Maybe this green one. And a blank page. And a book page. and a lined paper. Super boring. I know. I will add the smalls in there in a little bit. Book page, lined paper, and a blank page. Maybe this one. I would like a different color blank page, but I don't have one. So we're going to take this one out and put this in there. Oh, that's pretty. And there we go. And then a book page. It's also a pocket page. And then a lined paper. And a blank page. It's a lot of white in here. And then I'm kind of out of book pages. So I will use this as my book page because it has writing on it already. And then a lined paper and a blank page. All right. And then I could do this lined paper and another blank page. Okay, so this one probably is not going to make it in there. So there we have like the basic big stuff with this one exception of this one. Now I'm going to go back and put in the little stuff. So I like the way that looks. And I think I would like to have another smalls right there at the beginning. I really like that. So here I could put this one, or maybe this one, or this one. That one looks good. And maybe, nope. Nope. All right. We can go a couple pages. Oh, there's a nice shorty one there. So we'll put another short paper right there. That's pretty. And this is a pocket page here. On the other side at least. I'll put this here. That way around. I really like this one. I'm going to protect it with this nice cardboard piece here. Give it a little bit more sturdiness. And then I think I'm going to put this little envelope piece in there. It's getting kind of thick. The envelope and then the pocket pages. Nice little blank piece of paper here, maybe. And I wish I had more colorful stuff. Book page. This could be this, like this. I almost always put it at the bottom. I don't know why. And this can go in here along with this. There we go. And this is getting towards the center of the book, so I'll add. Nope, that one I like just the way it is. You know what? I think I'm going to take this out. Put it towards the center. And then where was that? Blue one. Could use that. Okay. And so now we'll go through it again. And I think this one will go well here. You can still see through it. I don't really want to encourage writing like on that without the that works well. I like that. Okay. It's a lot of white going on. A lot of white. It's very white. Nope. Nope. Glassine bag. Do we like that in the center of our book? No. But I did like a small paper in there. Huh. Too much white. I need a colorful page to put that on. Ooh, that would look pretty here. Okay, so that's going to go right there. That's a good spot. It's two whites, but it'll okay, so that's where I think our book is. Besides all these extra pieces. And then, so, as I was saying before, as you get towards the center of the book, because of this like, you see how the papers are all stacked up, so it pushes everything out. So you have all this hangover. So basically, I'm going to use my little handy dandy pencil and mark, you know, right here that this all needs to come off. And where that point was right here. So these ones are good. They're good and they're safe. They're well in there, you know, when you close the book. But these ones need some trimming. So let's get out the trimmer and trim them down. Hopefully it wasn't anything, wasn't any of those pockets. Usually if I make a pocket page, I'll put it more towards the front, or when I originally make it, it will be smaller intentionally, because I know that it needs to be smaller. Alright, now we're good. So now the next thing that I am going to do is round all the corners of the pages inside here. And I'll just, even the little ones, I like to round the corners. So it takes me a while. I could round the corners as I'm making them, but, you know, like I had to trim down those ones that I chose for the inside. And that's going to be our book. So I'm going to actually turn this off for a few minutes, and I'll turn it back on when I get ready to put it back together. Okay, so now all the corners are rounded, and it's lined up. I usually line everything up towards the bottom. I know some people like do it centered. I like it at the bottom, but it does tend to make the bottom of my signature way fatter than the top. Way thicker, I guess, would be a more appropriate way to put that. So now we're just going to sew it in. I'm impatient, and I like to make the book a book as fast as possible, or not as fast as possible, but I really like it when it's just in the book form. Here you could stop and add embellishments to the pages, fabric on the edges, anything you like. But I'm going to make it a book and then embellish it, add ephemera and stuff. So this is just some twine. I think it's just called twine. I get it at the dollar store. Sometimes. It's been a while since I found it. So it's about double the length of the book. It's going to be way more than I need, but that's okay. Excuse me. I'm also going to need some needles. So I use a awl or a pokey tool. You can call it whatever you want. And just find the center of the signature, press down, and then I would just do the middle and then about an inch from each side. I don't really measure. As I said, the bottom half of the book is way thicker than the top half. Alright, so now I have 3 holes on the spine there. Hopefully you can see that. And I just take my big old needle, thread it through. My awl makes a pretty big hole. If you use a smaller pokey tool, you would need a smaller needle, smaller thread possibly, and the twine. Oh no, I let it move, but that's okay. I like to go in from the back side so that the ties are on the outside of the book. This one's being difficult. Okay. And then you just have to move your string over, go back out that side. There you go. So I like to put the string in the center so that the knot will be tied around the string and less likely to slip through the hole, no matter what. But first I want to get it nice and tight so it doesn't move around. Okay, so now just tie a simple knot. It is kind of, hold on, okay, there's my knot. And you can see it's not completely centered. I didn't measure it. These are terrible scissors for this, but this is what I have on my desk. So there we go. There's our journal. It's a little bit fat, but if you tie something around it, it should help flatten it out just a little bit. You can also add a closure here. Okay, so now we're going to make this into a tag. I think this will be the top. I just simply, I do have a punch that makes tags, but this way works really well for me. And here you can do it with a ruler. So it's about 3 1/2, so 1 3/4 will be the center. Sorry, some of my stuff was caught. Just a simple hole punch. And the extra string that was left over will go into my tag. Just a nice little tag. And you could put it in this pocket here, I think, maybe. Oh no, I know where I should put it. It might fit right here. There we go. It's a nice little tag in there. And so now comes the time for all these bits of ephemera that were in the bag. Sorry about that. So these little bits and pieces, I don't know about those, but this This is nice. This can go in here, I think. Will it fit? A nice little notepad paper. Maybe, maybe not. Alright, let's look for that other one. Go on the back side. Okay. Let's guess check. And anything else? Or maybe a little playing card. Okay. And then on the front side, we'll do the to from. And this guest check. Actually, size-wise, I need to rearrange these. To from. Or maybe a flashcard. Alright, now let's find this pocket. Oh, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. This one. Alright, that's our book. It's completely fat. And we'll tie a string around it. Hold on. Okay, so if it lives like this for a little bit, it'll flatten out. It's just because it's super new. But let's do a quick flip through since you've been with me this far. So this is the book. Got a little bit of extra bits and pieces. These are the things I did not use in this book. Oh, I am going to use these though. I love these little things. So that can go there. That can go in here. Oh, with a playing card. There we go. Get some stuff in there. Oh, for this little envelope flap, just put a paper clip right there. And the other one doesn't have that problem. Alright. So it's really fat. It's really fat. It might need a closure, but we'll see. So this is the front cover. And we'll flip through all these beautiful papers. I love these little music papers. I like the different sizes of the papers, the variety, the textures, the colors. tag. I can hear my daughter laughing in her room through the wall. I doubt you can, but sometimes it just comes through. The center of the signature. I maybe could have eliminated some pages, but if you don't like something that's in your book, simply rip it out. It's just paper. Or, you know, most of it's just paper. You can rip it out. Or if you wrote something and you hate it, rip it out. It's just paper. That little pocket there. So if you get a book from someone, they did, you know, make it, but it's your book now, so do what you want with it. Alright, and that's the back side. I do think that maybe I could have put more like pattern paper or something on the back. It's very plain. And I am going to tie it up with some ribbon to help it stay closed. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it was a really long one, but I do enjoy the process videos. I don't enjoy voiceover parts. Sometimes it takes me like 20 times to get a voiceover done right. So that's mostly why I've stopped doing them. So, but this one's in real time except for the fast forward parts. And the only reason I do, let me go back. Voiceovers are great because you could be watching YouTube or listening to an audiobook or music and then later go back and, you know, just do the voiceover. So you can entertain yourself while you're making something and also still do a video for YouTube. But I prefer not to do the voiceovers, so I haven't done a process video in a while. But this was fun. I plan to do more process videos in the future, so I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and have a wonderful day.